All right,
Okay.
Aiken Developments TV, back with another off the radar interview. Today I'm joined by a hip hop legend, straight from Philadelphia. Now, when you think of kid rappers from the 90s, who comes to your mind? Maybe you think Kris Kross. Maybe you think Another Bad Creation. Maybe you think Immature. But you cannot forget Da Youngstas when talking about kid rappers from the 90s or in general. So I am joined today by none other than Quran Goodman, aka Q Ball, from that very group. So with that all being said, Quran Goodman, how the heck are ya?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing real good. I really appreciate you giving me some time today, Q.
No problem, man.
Awesome. So I'll just jump right into the interview. I know you're a busy man. So what age did the youngsters get their start?
Well, I started when we first got our record deal. I was 12 years old. I believe it was like 91.
Okay.
And my father is well known in the music industry. He started Pop Art Records,
The teacher.
Hilltop Hustlers. He discovered Will Smith, Salt and Pepper, Biz Markie, Steady B, Cool C, Three Times Dope, Craig G, Marley Marl, Roxanne Shante, and he's like a real legend,
Absolute
but he's
legend. The
not really
teacher
big in the
himself,
pop
your
world.
father. Very good. So with that being said, you being from Philly, do you or did you guys have a relationship with Will Smith?
Me personally, I was like real young at the age, so I didn't have a personal relationship with him. But my father and my uncle are the ones who discovered him and got him his first record deal at Jive Records. So
Okay.
they had a pretty good relationship from what I believe. I don't know what happened in the end, but me, I was like too young to
Right.
remember like I was like real young
Okay. So you
at
don't
that
really talk
time.
to him much today, or I know he's moved out of the
Nah,
Philly area.
yeah, I don't know him like that. I met him one time from what I can remember, and that's when I was producer for Trackmasters.
Okay.
He was working on his project, the Millennium album, and I was in the studio with him at Right Track in Manhattan, New York City. He's a real cool dude. We
Yeah.
met in person. We were supposed to do a couple of songs. He picked a couple of my beats in the studio,
Okay.
but you know how politics is, so I don't know
Absolutely.
why. Actually, I got a story for you that nobody else never heard before.
Uh
The
oh.
song, the
Breaking
song I
news
did, the song I did, breakups to makeups for
with
Method
Method
Man
Man.
featuring D'Angelo. That was actually Will Smith's song first.
Oh, are you
He
kidding
had a
me?
Yeah, I gave a well known guy named Charlie Mack out of Philly. Shout out to Charlie Mack. I gave him some beats to give to Will, and Will got a studio in his house that he records in, and he recorded that song. The song was called Maria,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And when I met him that time at Right Track, he first thing he said was, "Man, you gave my beat away to Method Man. That was my song."
Oh.
But yeah, he actually did a song to that beat. He was supposed to use it on the Millennium album,
Okay.
but Method Man beat him to the punch.
Wow, I had no idea. That's very interesting. Awesome. So, all right. So, you guys, I understand you guys are all family. You and Taj Mahal are brothers. Tariq is your cousin. But who decided at such a young age, the youngsters, you three should be a hip hop trio?
That was actually my father's, uh, you know, idea. The
Okay.
way the youngsters came about, it was an artist out of Philly named Mentally Gifted,
Yes.
MG, and my father was working on his project at the time. We had a studio in my basement in my house. So, while they was working on his project at the time in my basement, he had wrote a song called A Little Something for the Youth.
Okay.
And it was a part on the song that he wanted a kid to say on this one particular part on the verse in that song. So, you know, they called me to come downstairs to do the part on that song. I did it, and that's when my dad said, you know what? Because Taji was at my house at the time. We're actually half brothers. We got different moms, so he didn't grow up in the same house with me. But
Okay.
coincidentally, he was at my house that day. So when I, came downstairs to do that part on the song, my dad said, you know what? Let Quran and Taji rap the whole song. Let's see how it sounds. Because,
Sure.
I guess he liked my voice and flow when I, got on the mic to do that part. And we wound up rapping mentally
Okay.
gifted
Awesome.
vocals. And that's when they was like, wow, they sound hot.
Definitely.
It'd be hot though if it was three of them. So that's when we called my cousin Tariq. Because me and Tariq
Tariq
always
Dawson.
real
Okay.
tight. Me growing up, he was like, so, we called Tariq up, and that's when the trio formed.
Awesome. So that segues into your first album, Something for the Youngstas. Now, what was the inspiration behind that? Did you guys do any writing on that album?
Say it again. I'm
So,
sorry.
what was the inspiration for that album, Something for the Youngstas? Were you inspired perhaps by Another Bad Creation, who was already out, or?
Yeah. At that time, ABC Another Bad Creation was out, and they was on fire. I was heavily influenced by them. Big shout out to ABC, shout out to Michael Bivins,
Sure.
Dallas Austin, all those dudes, man, ATL. But I was like obsessed with the song they had called Playground.
Playground, great song.
This was back when like VCR tapes was, out or whatever. And the box, I don't know if you remember the
The
box.
Box, BET, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so when they video would come on the box, I actually recorded the video on my VCR. I used to play the video back to back to back and rap in the mirror like I was dumb.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, like I was like heavily influenced by them because at the time all of the rappers was older guys.
Okay,
So
yeah.
when I seen that song, it inspired me to, you know, be a rapper as a kid. Like
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, I can act, I don't have to wait till I get older to rap.
right.
I can try to do it now or whatever. So and then the situation happened that day with my dad and mentally gifted in the basement and everything just came together.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, ABC was doing big things, so I can see where the inspiration came from. So, what I found really interesting is just a year later, the next album comes out, The Aftermath. You guys change your style, you change your look, you're a little more hardcore. Now, did your style change just because you're a little bit older, or what went into that?
Well, the first album was more gimmicky. At the time you had ABC out. Then before they came, you had the Boys,
Yes.
and the kid artist was R&B artists actually. They were singers. So but they did the song Playground with them
Yeah.
rapping on it. Like I said, that inspired me to want to be a rapper as a kid. But the second album, the industry changed and it was a little more hardcore-ish around that time when 92 came in and we were influenced by 90
Maybe
how it
Onyx.
is when
Onyx
you're
was
a kid.
out. They had the shaved heads, kind of hardcore. Slam, I think, was pretty big right about that time.
Right, well actually we was out before Onyx actually.
Right, right. Wasn't Slam out
um,
like so? Was Aftermath before Slam, or was Slam before that?
no, Aftermath was before Slam.
Okay,
Yeah, we actually came out before Onyx.
okay,
And a
interesting.
lot of people think we shaved our heads trying to be like Onyx, but we had our heads shaved before that.
Okay,
The Past the Mic video, we didn't have our heads shaved,
no,
but that Past the Mic was from the first album. Once we started working on the second album, The Aftermath, we had shaved our heads before we got a chance to do the video for the second album,
okay,
which was Cruise. So we was already doing shows with our heads shaved and all of that before we did Cruise Pop video, but
Okay.
Onyx beat us to the punch when they came with the song "Throw Your Guns,"
Yeah.
and by the time we did Cruise Pop, we had our head shaved.
Okay.
The rest of the world thought we was trying to be like them, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's
we
interesting.
already
Just
had our head.
Yeah, just last night I was reading comments on some of the videos, Cruise Pop from that era, and they're like, oh, Onyx Jr. and everything. So you heard it here first, people. They shaved their heads before Onyx. Heck yeah.
Yep, heard
All
it here
right.
first.
Heck yeah. So that album, of course, had a hit song with Treach called Cruise Pop. So arguably you can make the argument that Treach was probably the hottest rapper out at the time. How did you guys get hooked up with Treach?
Uh, well, how did we get hooked up with Treach? Well, when we had passed the mic song out, we was on
Mhm.
fire. We was doing a whole lot of shows. Um, Sylvia, shout out to Sylvia Rome. That's who we were signed to, East West Atlantic Records. Sylvia had us doing a whole lot of shows, a lot of promos. So we bumped into Naughty by Nature in the mix of all of that, and we developed a relationship with them. Their manager was a guy named Shaq Kim
Okay.
that has a label called Flavor Unit, company Flavor Unit, him and Queen Latifah. Shakim and my dad, developed a relationship. They got cool, and they for before you know it, they had us in Hip Hop Array video,
Absolutely.
and actually on the set of Hip Hop Array video is when we heard the Cruise Pop beat first. KG from Naughty by Nature, shout out to
Oh.
KG. KG, he did all of Naughty's beats.
Yeah.
The scene when Treach and Eazy E was, shooting each other with the Super Soaker water guns,
Right.
that scene right there was actually on Treach's block where he lived at his aunt's house.
Okay.
So, like, literally during that scene, like in the middle of them, doing that scene or whatever, we had stepped inside of Treach's house, and KG started playing us some beats, and he played his Cruise Pop beat, and we went crazy. We like, oh man, we need that. So that's
Wow.
when my dad and Shakim and Sylvia set it up for us to record with them, and then Treach wound up writing the song.
Okay.
So when Treach wrote the song, he rapped it out for us to learn it. So when we got the Cruise Pop song, it actually was Treach rapping the whole song.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know, but Cruise Pop originally was named Cruise Hop.
Okay.
So the chorus was Cruise Hop. It's the hip hop, hop, hop. When we was in the studio doing the chorus, KG switched it around. He said, you know what? I don't like Cruise Hop. Why don't y'all say Cruise Pop?
Okay.
So that's when we switched it to Cruise Pop in the studio. And that part with Treach on the chorus, Treach had already rapped the whole song, so KG just left that one part in there.
Okay.
So it all just came together.
Okay,
Like,
so in a nutshell, if you guys weren't invited to the Hip Hop Ray video, you may not have had Cruise Pop, or at least that beat.
right. We didn't Cruise Pop didn't even exist
Wow.
at that time.
I never
That's
heard that
actually
story. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually where we heard Cruise Pop beat at first on the
Excellent.
set of Hip Hop Array video.
All right, so I'm going to take you down memory lane. So you're on the set for the movie Who's the Man? You're hanging out with Treach. From afar, you guys see Kris Kross. What happens?
We was on the set. I'm not the set. We was at a movie premiere party for the
Okay.
movie Who's the Man. We had a small scene in that movie,
Yes.
and the movie premiere was in Manhattan. Everybody was there, the whole industry, everybody. So when we was in there, we seen Treach, and we was with Treach, and that's when Jermaine Dupri walked in with Kris Kross. Now, Treach had a beef with Jermaine Dupri because he felt like he stole the whole jump thing from him. I don't know if you remember, but
Yes.
the the first Naughty by Nature video, OPP, they was jumping in the video and
At the
all of
end of
that.
the video, was it?
So OPP,
Yeah, at the end of the OPP video, if I'm not mistaken, they were kind of hopping up and jumping up and down. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
they was jumping in the video. So Treach felt like Jermaine got the whole jump idea from him. He had a beef with Jermaine. So when
Okay.
Kris Kross and Jermaine had came in a who's the man party, Treach pulled us to the side like, yo, I want y'all to go over there and sucker punch Kris Kross. And if anybody jump in it, we gonna beat them up. Like, yeah, man, don't worry about nobody else jumping in it, but I want y'all to go over there and sucker punch Kris Kross. So I guess he looked at it like, it was like more like a publicity stunt that he was setting up.
Okay.
So people, can start talking in the industry, the youngsters,
Yeah.
for Kris Kross, Treach was there, whatever. So we was actually trying to do it as we was approaching Kris Kross. Their security spotted us first and, moved them quick out of the room or whatever. But the Brat was with him that day.
The brat was with him.
This was
Okay.
before Brat came out. The Brat was actually the one trying to fight us.
The brat retaliated.
Yeah, the Brat was like, "Fuck y'all, what's up?" Da 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 da.
Are you
Like
kidding me? Okay.
Brat actually was doubted.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
crazy that night.
So is it safe to say if it wasn't for Treach, there never would have really been a beef with Kris Kross? And I say beef because it wasn't that serious, correct?
Yeah, I was just an industry beef. It wasn't serious.
Gotcha.
That whole thing was Treach.
Okay.
He directed us in that direction with the whole Kris Kross beef situation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Us personally, though, we never had any, real beef with Kris Kross. Like, shout out to Jermaine Dupri, rest in peace, Chris.
Chris Kelly
shout
passed
out
away,
to
unfortunately,
Chris.
2013, way too soon. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too bad.
man, rest in peace to him, man. I actually liked it, Kris Kross. I was a fan of them actually.
Absolutely. I was a big
So,
fan of theirs, yours, pretty much all the kid groups I was really into, but absolutely.
yeah.
All right, so now we're going to hit 1994, my personal favorite, the album No Mercy. It had mad props and probably one of my favorite songs of all time, Hip Hop Ride. Tell me about No Mercy.
Okay, well, the No Mercy album, my dad came up with the idea for us to work with Marley. My dad actually discovered Marley Marl and Roxanne Shante and put them out first. So my dad came up with the idea, like, I guess it'll be dope if y'all start working with Marley. So they set it up. Marley's studio was in his house in Spring Valley, New York, upstate.
Okay,
It's called the house. He called it the House of Hits. Shout out to Marley Marl.
definitely.
So we wound up going up Marley house, recording a couple songs, and as we was there, Marley wound up doing damn near 90% of the album.
Okay,
So he had a producer signed to him named K Def that was doing the beats too. Shout out to K Def. It was us, Marley Marl, K Def, and Marley House just, rocking out. And
excellent.
Marley wound up doing damn near the whole album. I did one track on that album titled Grim Reaper.
What track did you do on No Mercy?
The song Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very familiar
Yep.
with the full album. Okay. So
Yep.
how was it in Philadelphia when Hip Hop Ride came out? Was it pretty big? Did you have I remember when we played at our high school dances, everybody did a little slide to the left, slide to the right when the song would come on. Just had a real good beat, just real catchy, just a fun song.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, Philly never really supported us like that for some
Okay.
reason. Philly is like a real hard city, real street, and they kind of viewed us as like little mama's boys. Like,
Really?
yeah, they always looked at us like we wasn't really no real street guys, and our dad put us on. We didn't have to work for our spot. We basically had a silver spoon in our mouth. Like they never really respected us like that in Philly. All of our support actually came out of New York City.
Did it really? Okay. Now, what do you
Yeah,
mean by that? Just from fans or from other people in the business?
everything. Like our the core of our support in our career was New York City.
Okay.
Like you would have thought we was from New York. They supported us so much. That's because New York is like really a hip hop city. Like that's
Definitely.
where hip hop originated from. So they live it up there. It's not just something they do to make some money and to be famous. Like they really live hip hop. They are hip hop.
For
So
sure.
they appreciated us up there being as though, they are hip hop. Philly is more of a, street type hardcore city. They're not really hip hop. They just do hip hop as a check to make some money and to get famous. It's more like a hustle
Okay.
for Philly people.
Who's somebody that reached out
So
to you from New York or showed you support, like artist wise? It's somebody we might know.
say it again.
Who's an artist or somebody that was in the business that showed you support or that kind of welcomed you from New York City or New York?
Oh man,
Was it
you had
like
Naughty by
Nas maybe or?
Nas. We was cool with Nas. Nas is like a real introvert.
Okay.
He stays to himself. He's not really like a social people's person like that. Like if you're not his like friend that he like grew up with or somebody in his immediate circle, he's
Okay.
not really social like that.
Gotcha.
So our relationship with Nas always was limited. It was more like a cordial,
Okay.
cool relationship. We see each other speak. We'll kick it at the time, but it was never nothing more outside of that with Nas.
Okay. All right.
But
So
yeah,
anybody list? I'm
man,
sorry. Go ahead.
everybody from New York showed us support, man. Like
Mob Deep. You
everybody. We
guys were
didn't have
close to Mob Deep.
Yeah, Mob Deep. I met Mob Deep in Washington D.C. at a convention. I forgot the name of that convention. That was like '93, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
and 92, '93, and we met Mob Deep. They were kid rappers just like us, so we all was in the same category.
Okay.
So we met them. They was cool, man. Like rest in peace, Prodigy.
Absolutely.
We kicked it with them that whole weekend at that music convention. I forgot the name of it. We kicked it with them. We exchanged contacts. When we would come to New York, we would call them. Actually, Havoc is in "Is You With Me" video, the second video after Cruise Pop.
Okay.
If you watch that video, you'll see Havoc walking with me in
Is he?
that
Okay.
video.
I'll have to watch that again. I never
Yeah,
recognized Havoc in there, but I'll have to check that out again.
yeah, this was before Shook Ones and all of that. Like they
Yeah, this is before
wasn't
they blew up in '94 with Shook Ones, like you said. Okay.
right, right.
So
So if you
before I
watch that,
move on to the next question, anybody that for some reason that is listening to this video that's never heard Hip Hop Ride, soon as you're done with this video, please YouTube it, listen to it. Incredible song. So,
thank you, man.
absolutely. Let's go into 95. That's when you were Da Youngsta's Illy Funkstas. You dropped I'll Make You Famous. You also had a song with Mobb Deep, Bloodshed and War. How did you like I'll Make You Famous? What can you tell me about that album?
I Make You Famous was that was when we did the I Make You Famous album, we was released from our contract with Sylvia Rome, so that was an independent album.
Okay.
Um at that time I had I already knew Mobb Deep, Havoc, and Havoc actually was on a promotional tour at the time with Loud Records, him and another group named Cellar Dwellers. They had a show in Philly, and Havoc called me and told me he was going to be in Philly to record a song. I'm sorry, he was going to be in Philly to do a show, and he wanted to link up with me. So
Okay.
when he came to Philly to do the song, I'm sorry about that. Somebody is interrupting me.
Oh, all
He
right.
came to Philly to do the show, and we linked up while he was in Philly. I brung him around my way so that they can chill in Philly. I took him around Philly, and we wound up going back to my house. I had a studio in my basement. We wound up going back to my house, and that's when we recorded the Bloodshed and War song.
Okay, another great song. Definitely real nice beat. You produced that beat, correct?
Yeah, I did that beat.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Awesome. So that explains. I remember when I bought that album, it was a little harder to find in the record stores. So you were independent, so I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, that album was independent.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
so the distribution was wasn't as powerful as the other three albums that was through
definitely, and
Atlantic
still great
Records.
song. Verbal Glock was a great song.
What?
Definitely. Can you comment on why you were released or
Thank
why you
you.
didn't have a record deal and it had to be independent?
Um, well, Sylvia and East West had some promoting our projects, and for some reason, man, we never could touch that gold. Like we always would sell a couple 100,000, but we never really can, go gold
Okay.
for whatever reason. And man, we had an all-star lineup on our second album, The Aftermath.
Right.
All kinds of producers, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Naughty by Nature, KG, The Beat Nuts, Marley Marl.
It's quite a cast.
That album was an all-star album. Then we
Definitely.
had the third album, which was produced by Marley Marl, legendary producer, and we never could go gold. So Sylvia felt like the run was over. I guess she felt like she gave it all she got. What more could she do at that point? And
Okay.
she wound up letting us go. So
Gotcha. Interesting.
that's when, yeah, that's
Okay.
when actually the "I Make You Famous" album, we recorded that in hopes of getting another major record deal. So that was more like a setup album to put out so we can get another record deal.
Okay. So when you had that, so that's pretty much your last official album of the 90s. I know you guys worked on Icons. I don't think that was released until somewhat recently. Now, you did it independent. You were trying to possibly get another record deal. Weren't you guys really close to signing with Jay-Z and Rockefeller?
I wouldn't say we was close to signing with them. Shout out to Dame Dash and Jay-Z and Biggs.
Okay.
We we knew Jay from doing shows and stuff like that. We would bump into him sometimes, certain events or shows we had. And when we did the "I Make You Famous" album, after that, we was trying to get another record deal. We had recorded another album titled Icons. I
Right.
produced that entire album and recorded it in my basement.
Okay.
And we were trying to get another record deal. One day, Jay-Z was in Philly doing radio promo, and we heard him on the radio. We drove up to the radio station, and we wound up actually bumping into him on Broad Street on our way to the radio station to see him. We
Okay.
got out the car, we dapped each other, exchanged contacts, and then we went to, Rockefeller offices in Manhattan after that. Dame, told us to come through. We went to the offices, had a meeting with Dame, played him our music or whatever, but it never materialized into nothing after that.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess, Jay or whoever wasn't really feeling
Ah,
the
it's too bad.
idea.
That would have been interesting to see you on that record label, at least one album or two. It would have been awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm a huge fan of Jay-Z,
Yeah,
Dame Dash, all them dudes.
definitely. All right, Q, I know you're a busy man. I have a couple more questions and I'll get you on your way. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. What's your favorite Da Youngsta song?
My favorite, the Youngster song, I would have to say Pass the Mic.
Okay, good choice. Good choice.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you something crazy, right?
Okay.
I don't even like our music. Like,
What? Say
yeah,
that
man.
again.
Like me personally, like all of the music I do,
Okay.
it doesn't excite me when I listen to it. Like
Wow.
I listen to other people's music for, excitement or, whatever.
Interesting.
My own music doesn't really do nothing for me like that. I don't really listen to my own music after I record it.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so who, in your opinion, is the greatest rapper of all time?
Jay-Z,
Jay
hands
Z.
down.
You answered that just like that, by the way.
Hands down, man. Like all the stuff that man accomplished is unbelievable.
Definitely.
Rest in peace to Tupac and Biggie, man. They were two great artists. I actually had the privilege of knowing both of them personally,
Okay.
but I would have to say if those guys were still alive, I really don't think they would had accomplished all of the things that Jay Z accomplished in his career. I don't
Yeah.
even think they lasted that long, actually.
Right, definitely. Not the same amount of albums and content, unfortunately, when they both passed away, talking about Tupac and Biggie. So, I'll Make You Famous sampled Biggie, actually. Now, did you guys have a relationship with him? And again, I'm going off of rumor. I want to say it was either the Youngsters or Taj Mahal was supposed to sign with Bad Boy, but unfortunately, Biggie did pass. Is there truth to that, or how's that story?
Yeah, that's partially true. What happened was when we was working on our when we did the I Make You Famous album, we had internal problems. We wound up breaking up, you know, you know, internal
You
reasons
guys
or whatever.
officially broke up. You guys actually announced it and everything.
Well, we never announced it. Actually, Wendy Williams put it out there on the radio. She heard a rumor
Okay.
and she went on the radio when she, was doing her show in New York City on the radio, and she put it out there that we
Okay.
had broke up, and that actually messed everything up because we actually had like two record deals on the table, two major companies that was about to sign us again from the Make You Famous project.
Okay.
So when she said that, everything just fell apart. I guess the labels was like, damn, these dudes
Wow.
broke up or whatever. But yeah, Taji wound up going up to New York City to I think it was Bad Boy Records. Somewhere he went up to New York City and he bumped into them. Big was interested in signing them, but it never materialized into nothing.
Yeah, I
So
remember it was probably 97, 98. Me and a couple of my buddies, big Youngsters fans, we got word that you may have broke up, probably done with albums. And I can't remember what interview, but we saw like maybe a profile shot of Taj, and Biggie flat out said, I effing love this guy's voice. I'm working on signing him or something. I'm paraphrasing, but he definitely said something. So we got all excited, like, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy. And then, of course, unfortunately, he passed away not that much longer afterwards and whatnot. But too
yeah,
bad.
because I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
But
I can't. I don't know if it was the source, if it was Vibe, but we saw something and we saw him on stage. It was like a profile shot, and he commented real quick. Biggie had talked about something about how he really liked his voice and everything. It was really cool. But
okay, yeah. Actually, Biggie's last show that he did in Philly, man, Taj was there on stage with him at a club named Gotham on Delaware Ave. We was on stage with him his last show in Philly before situation happened in L.A. But what happened was when we broke up, our main thing was, you know, Taji, you could do your own project, but don't break up with the group. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna mess us up.
right,
Because you got you got people like Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man did a solo project, Old Dirty Bastard,
all of them, right? Quan,
Raekwon,
Ghostface, Inspector Deck,
all of those guys did solo projects as, other individual record deals. They never broke up the group.
right.
they never actually left the group. So our thing was, cool, you want to do your, situation outside of the group. Don't break the group up. But people were selfish, broke the group up. And actually, this is another story, but I heard that Biggie told Charlie Baltimore he wanted to sign all of us.
And I think I've
He
heard that
wanted,
too. That's why the story's kind of vague, and history doesn't cover it very well for some reason.
yeah,
Not you
that's a
guys,
whole,
not your guys' fault, but
yeah, but actually, I heard that Biggie wanted to sign all of us,
I did hear that as well.
but people was not wanting that to go down and or whatever. So,
Can you imagine the youngsters on Bad Boy or with Junior Mafia or something like that with those beats and yourself with your production skills? That would have been crazy.
yeah, man, that would have been crazy. Oh man, like I'm a huge Biggie fan. That would have been legendary. And like you said, we had Biggie on our chorus on "I Make You Famous." His voice sample.
Definitely.
So he heard that. He liked the song. We was fans of his, and but it was a lot of personal internal issues going on at that time that prevented everything from moving forward.
Gotcha. So had Biggie not been killed, do you think you guys would have eventually been signed? History would have been a little bit different, or
Nah, man,
it
it
still wouldn't have
wasn't
worked
that.
out? You don't think?
Nah, it wasn't that serious. It was more like
Okay.
an idea. Is like
A lot of behind the scenes
it wasn't.
things people don't realize.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
Like he really signed. Nah, it wasn't like that. It was more like an idea. Damn, dude is hot. I like them. I want to sign them or whatever. That's it.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing more than that. But before Biggie died, the whole situation had already went sour. So
Okay.
Biggie wasn't going to
Wow.
sign him anyway before he
Wow.
died.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, the
Yeah,
story is
it's not like he was in the middle of about to sign Prodigy and then he died. Nah, it was nothing like that.
gotcha.
I'm saying nothing like that.
Okay, Karan. So basically, the interview segment's called Off the Radar. I'd like to get off the radar material. You've already given me plenty, but I also like to end with something that I feel wasn't covered very well. So, putting you on the spot, Icons 2 was dropped by Da Youngsters just last year. It was just Tariq and Taj Mahal that were on that album. Is there a reason why you didn't participate?
Yeah, like I feel like the whole youngsters thing is over with. Certain situations I feel like you should just be left alone. Because, if you still try to tamper with it, you can mess up the legacy. Our last impression is a good impression. It's not like we was out, we had music out, then we got whack, then we fell off or whatever, and the group broke up. Like we actually, stopped rapping at the peak of our creative points in our career.
Gotcha.
So we got a good last impression. I don't want to go back and tamper with that. I just feel like the whole youngster thing is just, should be left alone.
Okay, so you don't want to mess up or
It
risk messing
doesn't
up
look
your
right.
body of work.
Yeah, like it just doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's like the Rhymes going back trying to do a Leaders of the New School album.
Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me,
Okay.
But I wish them dudes the best. But I got other visions.
Okay.
I'm thinking more. I'm thinking in the future. I'm not thinking in the past, trying to rekindle something in the past.
I see. Okay. So with that being said, what is the Youngsters' legacy and what made you guys stick out from other teenage rap groups from the 90s? And you definitely did.
Well, me personally, what made us stick out, I think, like I said, we had an all-star lineup on our second album. Then we had a legendary producer on our third album. No
Marvelous.
other kid groups had that type of power behind them. Like Illegal, they had Eric Sermon, Dallas Austin doing their tracks, but
Okay.
it wasn't Naughty by Nature and DJ Premier. Marley Marl, you know what I'm saying? Like Treach, like at the time, Treach was like Jay-Z in the game. He was
Yeah.
the best, hottest
Who was
dude.
bigger than
So
Treach in the 90s? The 92, 93, 94?
nobody.
Absolutely.
Like Treach was the biggest.
Definitely.
Then, that's when
Absolutely.
the whole Death Row wave came and Snoop just took everything over.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, Quran, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Do you have anything you want to promote? How can fans keep track of you?
Everybody follow me on my Instagram page at Quran Goodman. Check out my YouTube page, Cue Ball TV, man. I'm building that thing up from the ground up. A lot of decent, crazy content on there. If you want some inspiration or motivation, or you want to hear some legendary hip hop stories never heard before, go to YouTube, type in Quran Goodman, subscribe, Cue Ball TV, and you know what I'm saying, I got my projects coming, glorious. I got an instrumental project, Q instrumentals,
Oh, okay.
and I'm working on a documentary right now also on my life. It's
Absolutely, definitely. Check out Cue Ball TV. I watch it regularly. Definitely some great stories, some excellent content. Again, Quran, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Big shout out to you, man.
Thank you. Very appreciated. Thank you. Take care.
All right, you too, man.